Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai Bashem Rakakodah. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to entitle this video, For He Was But a Youth and Ruddy. That's from 1 Samuel 17, verse 42. And when the Philistine looked upon, this is the giant that the Lord put this, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai put the spirit on King David to take him down with a slingshot. And before they fought, he was the champion of the Philistines, and they called for the champion of the Israelites. So David had convinced Saul, the king, and he put on Saul's armor. Now remember, Saul was, when you read about Saul coming on the scene, he was the tallest man in Israel. So he was very tall. He was a warrior too. And David was able to wear his armor. So David was tall too. But David was a stripling. You can look that word up. Like you got a kid, maybe in the 6th grade. Average kid might be 5'4", 5'3", 5'5". You know they're gonna grow. What did I say? The 5th grade, 4th grade. But you got one kid that's 6'2". You can encourage him to play basketball because you know he's going to grow. He can grow another 5, 6, 7 inches. So that's what David was. He was like a young man that had that height on him, but he didn't, he was growing taller but not wider, so to speak. So he was like a kid. He's like maybe 13, 14, whatever. It says, so when David went up to fight the champion, he looked down on him like, who you gonna send this little puny guy to fight me? That's what the language was, or the mentality. Philistine looked about and saw David. He disdained him, for he was but a youth. He was but a youth, a stripling. And ruddy. It didn't mean he was red and of a fair countenance. So let me open this up. I'm going to show you what this is leading to. This is a video I was just watching that the elder head of GMS Chicago, Malcolm, had put up. He's going into this topic. It says, and the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thee flesh. Give thy flesh unto the fowl of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then David said, thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name, there it goes again, the name. Any Israelite group that says we don't know the name, we got to wait for the name, we got to wait. What is that, Zephaniah 3:9, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look that up real quick. We got to wait for the name. The Most High going to give us a new name. Yahweh is the name of the Son. We don't know the name of the Father. He's sold out. Like a lot of these guys are selling out. You got Brother Hassad and Brother Hakkad, Deacon Hakkad, and Brother Hassad, they both sold out. Just recently we knew about this. The head of GOCC, Ricard, he sold out. He was at the Grammys working with small hats, a small hat. I forget the guy's Simon something, Richard Simon, whatever his name was, because a brother that was part of GOCC, he went out and told on this guy, and he said that this guy's a millionaire. That this guy, Ricard, is a millionaire. He went to the Grammys, and I did the video on it, so you can check my video. I did it a couple of days ago. He went to the Grammys with the whole tuxedo, black tuxedo with the black bow tie. So he's up there, standing, taking a picture with a small hat. So it says, but I come to thee in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. So that's all I need on that. The key word I wanted was ruddy. He didn't curse him out. He said, first of all, I'm not, look at you, you're red. I ain't fighting a red guy. He said, you a red guy. No. He was, the key right here is he was but a youth. He was a stripling and ruddy. He was tender. He didn't have no battle scars on him. You know? He didn't have no grays in his beard. He probably didn't have a full beard. So when you deal with that word ruddy, it can mean, let's click on it. Let's look up the word ruddy. You can't equate this word ruddy with Esau. When it said the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, he was red in his appearance. And he grew up to be red. Edomites are not white, they're red. Adama. Adama or Manya. Give me a second here. So the key word that I want, okay, the word here is red, ruddy, or Esau as infant. So they're saying that this means red. Now it goes to the root word, which means to be red. Adam or Adawam. Dyed red. This is talking about the color red. Red or ruddy. King David was not the skin color of a red person. So they'll say, well, see, that proves that the Israelites, the tribe of Judah, they were of that color. No. Now you have certain jakes that are considered red, like Red Fox and Malcolm X. They had a red tint to them. They had like a red, dark red tint. When you go to the dictionary and you look up the word ruddy, let me give you the word ruddy. Bear with me for a minute. Look at the word ruddy in pictures. Ruddy. Like this, right? This duck is ruddy. Same complexion. If you open it up, okay, ruddy describes a wealthy, fresh, or flush red complexion, often associated with outdoor life, exercise, or excitement. Let me just go to images. Okay, see? He has a red tint about him. Different from right here. First came out red all over like a, that's how Esau came out looking like. You can clearly see that he has red in him. So you can call him ruddy. So David could have did another one. Look at this. Malcolm X was that The Esau doesn't look that way. You can see the difference. You can see the difference. It's more of a pink. So if David was actually red, describing a red person, he would look like Malcolm X. He would look like Malcolm X or Red Fox. You can see he has a red tint on him. They used to show horses. Now, if I pull this picture out on you and said, what color is this duck? You would say white, kind of a brownish black. And what about this? That's brown. Nobody's going to say, he's red. Let me give you this one. Picture speaks 1,000. That's definitely brown, but it's a red tint to the reddish brown. Primary color is brown, but it's got a reddish tint to it. Malcolm X and Red Fox. There was another comedian. He was red. Had a red tint to him. But right there, you can see the red tint in him, which doesn't mean King David looked like an Edomite. Look at these. This might be from Africa. Let me open this up. You can see the red tint. This is not what Edomites look like. Edomites, when they came out looking like this, or looking like this, or even looking like this. So anyway, let's do this. I want to come back to so it didn't mean vocab trying to push that nonsense that David looked like a so-called white man. No, he did not look like a well, it said he was ready. I already broke it down to you. Would anybody ever mistake Malcolm X or Red Fox as being a so-called white man? So you don't know what you're talking about. But Esau is set up to, control the narrative, and their narrative is based upon lies. This is a basic. Another thing when you look up the word ruddy in the Hebrew, the word takes you to the word Adam, which they say that's Adam's name. Adam means red. Nope. Let's go to the word Adam. Let's go to the word Adam. Not the first Adam. Let's go to the word inside joke. Adam. Okay, Adam. Unto Adam to see. Let's look up the word Adam. Okay, here we go. Adam. See, it says Adam. It's foolish when you have like IUIC say, oh, we don't go into the Hebrew. Then you don't have you don't go deep into the scriptures. Going into these root words unlock the scriptures even more. So you really couldn't explain ruddy, because you would have to go into the Hebrew. Okay, so the word Adam means man. It does not mean man. Man, mankind, man, human being, man. Much more frequently intended sense in Old Testament. Adam, first man, city in Jordan. Okay, let's go to the root of that word. H119. Now they're telling you that the word means red. How you get the word man out of the word red? Ruddy. So basically, this is confused, nothing but confusion. It said it was man. How do you get red from the word man? Let me come on back. Come on back to Adam. And the word in the Hebrew for man is ayash. Give me a second here. Okay, so let's do this. You know what I'm going to do? Let me look up the word. Well, let me go to the word ground. And out of the ground, Yahweh formed man, formed every beast of the field. Now let's look up the word ground. Let's go to the Hebrew. That's Adam's name right there, ground. The name means ground. Doesn't mean red. It doesn't mean red in the face, blush in the face. Adama. It means ground in a feminine sense. In a sense, the suffix ha makes it feminine. Like for example, house. If you say house in the Hebrew, you would say bayath. If you would say his house, you would say bayath wa. If you say her house, you would say bayath ha. Her house. If you would say house in a feminine sense, not his or her house, but house, the house being a feminine house, is bayatha. What is it? Bayatha. Bayatha, which is a feminine house. And feminine house as opposed to bayath, which means house. When they say bayath, it means like masculine house. Her house, bayatha. You don't know that Hebrew, you're not going to truly be able to unlock these scriptures. This is why you got these Israelite groups that can't see the mark of the beast, because they don't go into the root word. And this, ultimately, the spirit, the Comforter is not dealing with them. Read John, read the whole chapter, John 14 and John 16. It means ground. It says, and the Lord formed man out of the dust of the ground and called his name ground. It meant ground or soil. Look, it says ground, right? Adama, ground, land, ground, piece of ground, earth. Now check this out. Now if you pull the video back, it's when you read Adam, it went to the word red. It went to the word man, then it went back to the word red. Here, Adama, it goes to the word ground, and I guarantee it is right there. It's going to go back to the word red. So how can you have these man, Adam, ground, red mean the same? No, it doesn't mean the same thing. Either blue letter is deliberately going off, or they're not that deep. There's a handful of words that the blue letter goes off on, like Yahushai. They say the name is Yahweh Shawai, which is not. It's not that. And then they say, oh, Yahweh Shai or Yahweh Shai means Yahweh deliver or Yahweh save. Does not mean that. Like you have Nate saying, I'll give you the precept in a minute. My name is in him. My name is in him. But I don't even have to click on that. It's saying that the word, how can you go from the word ground to the word red? Doesn't make sense. Let me see something. Let me see if my name is in. Let me see what comes up. I can find it. Hopefully I'll find it. There, I found it. It says Exodus 23 verse 21, and the elder out of South Carolina, GM South Carolina, he went into this. He broke it down wrong. This was maybe a year and a half ago or so, and I think he corrected it because I did do a video. But I remember this was maybe 3 years ago. Bishop Nate used this scripture to say that Yahweh Shai, you got the word Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. No. It said, beware of him and obey his voice. This is the angel. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Meaning my name is Yahweh and his name is Yahweh Shai. Do you see the similarity? It's the same word, the same name. No. Bishop Nate broke that down totally wrong, and I hope he's watching and he corrects it. Let me read that again. This is the angel of the Lord. Lord is saying, look, this man here don't play, so don't get on his bad side. He gonna kill you. Angels don't play. Angels don't laugh and joke like we do. He said, beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions. For my name is in him, meaning I approve of this man. I approve of this message. I authorize this man. I give him the authorization. So if you make him, if he gets mad at you, that means you're gonna make me mad. But I'm not gonna do nothing. He gonna do it. And he got the authority to take you out. Angels got the authority to take you out. They were taking Israelites out in the wilderness because they were murmuring. They were listening to the mixed multitude. The mixed multitude got them to want to go back to Egypt. So the mixed multitude didn't want to go in the wilderness. They said they thought they were going to get something better, and they said, "Nah, we're going to go back to Egypt." And had Israelites saying, yeah, at least the food was good in Egypt. They were eating good. They were not eating GMO foods. So when you go to what is that? Ezekiel 4, 13, it says we shall eat our defiled food among the Gentiles. It also says it says in a polluted land. This land is polluted. The food is polluted. It's not even real food. It's lab-grown food that we eat. It looks and tastes like and feels like. And they showed you that in The Matrix. With this guy, the character that sold out, he said, I know this is not a real steak. He said, it tastes like a steak. I know this is not real wine, or however he said it. And well, guess what? That's us. We're eating stuff that we think is steak and it's not even real. It's like lab-grown steak. Or, how can I say, altered steak. So we're not even eating real food. I remember as a kid, you ate a burger. That was a real burger. Now it's fillers. We said, beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. You know what I'm going to do? If you don't go into the Hebrew, you do not truly understand the Bible 100%. Oops, wrong thing. Let me do it this way. Let me go to the Amplified. Let's see what the Amplified says. Be on your guard before him, this angel. Listen to and obey his voice. Do not be rebellious toward him or provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgression. Since my name, authority, didn't I say that? My name, authority, is in him. I give him the authority. I give him the authority to kill you. So I don't need to. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me go to the NLT. Let me come back. Let me go to the NLT. Pay close attention to him and obey his instructions. Do not rebel against him, for he is my representative. My name is in him. I stamp my name of approval on him, and he will not forgive your rebellion. So it has nothing to do with, this is the Yahweh Shai, and if you go into it, Yahweh's name is in Yahweh. No. Bishop Nate clearly went off. So if he's watching it, he can change it. He can do a class tonight on it. Bishop Nate does not have 100% truth in the scriptures. Captain Desariac, although he thinks he knows everything, Captain Desariac, he does not have 100% truth. Ricard, the GOCC, he damn sure ain't got no truth. He's nothing but a Christian. He's worldly. He's of the world. So anyway, you know what? Let me do this. Okay. Where am I? Where the hell am I? Okay, here we go.
Dash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, the tabernacle of David, ordained to be the ruling class government here on earth, ushering in the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is an earthly kingdom, on earth as it is in heaven, right? Which will be governed by the 144,000, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird, right? Hence the reason why the Lord is sending the angels to gather them up, to separate the wheat from the tares. The kingdom of heaven will be an earthly kingdom, ruled over by who the world fraudulently and falsely calls JC. His name is Yahweh Shai. And yes, King David will sit on that throne again. And to the few Akwaf, the sisters that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm coming at you with another lesson in truth. Tag teaming in the spirit with my brother ICR down in Charlotte. He asked me for some information yesterday because something that really pissed him off. And I got pissed off just knowing he was pissed off. You know, a real brother, you don't know the situation, all right? Because all I know is we in a hostile situation and he starts swinging. I ain't asking him why he's swinging. I'm swinging too, all right? And that's what it is. All right, they offended my brother and they pissed me off, and then, you know, like Esau Edom is constantly lying about everything. As a matter of fact, the name of this video will be ChatGPT/AI is programmed to be disingenuous, and I'm going to prove it thoroughly. I'm going to thoroughly prove to you that ruddy never meant pale, as in an Edomite pale. Okay? Because that's what had them pissed off. You can start looking up things to find out, what ruddy is, and then all of a sudden they show you a bunch of. They changed it. The men of the Lord, we have used this internet so much that Esau Edom has deleted, removed, and changed information because we were able to go to their own sources and prove that the doctrines of Christianism and white superiority is a lie. And one of my main weapons is the book that you see before you. All right, so we're going to focus on 3 scriptures: Jeremiah 14:2, Lamentation 4:8, and Revelation 4:3. All right, those 3 scriptures. And I could do a lot more, okay? But just notice before we even start going into the scripture, Esau was never referred to as ruddy. Never. There is not one scripture where Esau is referred to as ruddy. And since the word ruddy, written in the Assyrian script, which isn't even the real Hebrew, looks similar to red. Since ruddy and Edom looks similar, they try to make them the same word, and they're not. Okay. But what that does, it acknowledges that they know that Edom is pale. They know that Edom is the so-called white man. So they actually, by pushing this lie, they actually condemn themselves. Right? Remember, you can do nothing for this truth. Against this truth, but only for it. Salaki, I misspoke. You can do nothing against the truth. You can only help it, forward it. So every time they try to tell a lie, all it does is help forward the truth of the matter. Okay? Because Isaiah 14:2, it reads as such. I'm going to get these scriptures. And then we're going to get some words that back them up, that proves to you that they've lied about ruddy from their own sources. Okay? So not Isaiah, but Jeremiah 14:2, referring to the tribe of Judah. Okay? And it reads, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. It says Judah is black, not they wear all black. That's the reason why the Israelites, the little hats, wear all black. They're trying to, link up, match up to the scripture. But when you look up that word black, that word there is Kedar. Right? Kedar literally means brown skin. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can play this quick video. Hopefully I saved it from Instagram. This guy, and he tells portions of the truth. He still goes off. All right. Let me put my books down because I got that Winston in my hand, that very book that's on the screen. And I also have Snowden's, the other one that was on the screen. I'm holding these books. That's why they're on the screen. So I'm going to read from them, so I like to post it. But here we go. We'll play this shortly. And we're going to look into the word dusky, ruddy, maroon, and chestnut, and how they're all related to blackness, to being brownish or reddish brown. All right? I am reddish brown, very light reddish brown. I'm still brown, okay? But here we go.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I didn't realize that. Should have mentioned you. You were considered ready. You would be considered like the complexion of a Red Fox or a Malcolm X, which was a Detroit Red. And they used to run together in crime. Red Fox, and they knew each other. Back before he woke up, so-called woke up. He didn't woke up. He went back to sleep. But they were two partners. If you go to the story, to the history, Red Fox and Detroit Red were the partners in crime.
1965, the former president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, said he couldn't respect the present Jews in Israel because they left Israel black and they came back white. Because they were Caucasians when they returned, a Turkic Mongol Asians.
And the truth is coming out all around the world that they know this attack, current attack, this war, which is it's not turning into a third world war. It's a third world war. There's multiple nations involved in this war. We're living in a serious time. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I know ultimately that's going to lead to Russia, China, other EU nations, NATO nations getting involved, India, Pakistan, any nation that possesses missiles and their modern armies. Here I go again. They're going to meet in that area of the so-called Middle East. I believe, my personal belief is that I don't see them pulling the troops back. It'll be a ground war, boots on the ground, because they're sending the report towards the other as of 2 days ago, 5,000 troops. Now there's another video that said it was supposed to be 10,000 troops. They said that they're going to be there for a couple of weeks. It's turning into, now they're saying 6 months. We're going to be in there for at least 6 months. That 6 months will possibly turn into a year, 9 months or whatever. And during that time, here comes the chip. MOTB will be administered to the whole planet, but it will come in the form of what do you call it? Classes. So if you're in the Middle East, when they tell you to get the shot, and what they do is, what people don't tell you, in the military, you join the military right now, you're gonna get shot. You're gonna get a bunch of shots. You're gonna get a bunch of shots because you're going to different places around the world. You need, like malaria and I can't even think of any. There's certain countries that people, their immune system can deal with that, but you can't. So you got to get those shots. So they used to getting shots. They used to getting 7 or 8 shots, and they don't tell them what these shots are for. But the ultimate shot they're gonna get is the MOTB. And if you do that, you're gonna be destroyed. You're gonna be destroyed if you're an American, you got it. And you're gonna be destroyed if you're in the Levant or south of the Levant. You're gonna be destroyed because you got the mark. Now there's gonna be people that got the mark that's not gonna be destroyed. I don't know what's gonna happen to them, because if 95, 98% of the people have the mark, that means there's only going to be a handful of people. A couple of thousand people. That in the thousands. It's not going to happen. The ones that receive the chip, if you're in America, you receive the chips and the missiles come, you're not going to get beamed up. You're going to have Edomites and other nations that say, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm not going to accept the chip. You're not going to be beamed up if you're an Edomite. But if you say I'm not going to accept the chip and you're a so-called white Christian, chances are you could be an Israelite that looks like an Edomite. Things are going to get serious, man. And in the midst of that, Jacob's trouble, when it gets really hot, you're gonna have those women. You're gonna have many women, and they're gonna want to get with a man of understanding the scriptures and understanding prophecy, because when all hell truly breaks loose on this place, people are going to be clueless as to what's going to be a shock to them. Like the scripture said in a couple of places in the New Testament, it shall come as a thief in the night. A thief in the night means when you sleep and the thief comes and unlocks your door and comes in and he's stealing shit. He's real quiet. They call them cat burglars. Goes in there, steals shit, and leaves your house and don't bother you or your wife or your kids. And then you wake up, you realize the drawers are open, shit is missing out. You knew, and you scared as hell because you could have died. But the guy don't want to kill you. He just want to rob you. So that's a thief in the night, because you sleep. You're not asleep. You're asleep. We say in the hood, we say sleep. Nigga, you sleep. So us, if you in a house and you got a pit bull, a couple of pit bulls, in my case, in my woman's house, they got two big head pit bulls, and they will get up and attack your ass. They're two mean pit bulls. But you have now Esau. What does Esau have? He has these security systems. They make billions of dollars off the security system because people rob shit. South Africa, them Edomites down there, they got high-powered weapons. You come up in there tonight, they got the weapon right next to their bed, under the pillow or whatever, and they will blast you. Even this guy said it. What's this good? Elon Musk's father said that there was some Africans that busted in his house, and he shot him. You know. Anyway, let's come on back. Forgive me for the rant.
From the Caucasus Mountains.
Well, let's pause it right there. That proves that.
And we identified where they actually came from. They came from two places, not the Caucasus Mountains. They came from Mount Seir, Jordan, Petra, and they came from the Caucasus Mountains. This is why you have, even in the Roman Empire, during the time of the Messiah, they knew about Edomites. They knew what an Edomite looked like. And by the way, the Herodians, they didn't look like Edomites. They looked just like Jakes. So you can mistake them. When Paul went before Felix, Paul went before Herod, and Herod looked like a Jake. He didn't look like an Edomite. And the Romans were considered Caucasians. Edomites were not considered Caucasians because they were not from the Caucasus Mountains. When you go into the history, the Babylonians, after the Babylonians, when Esau fell, he kind of disappeared out the scene for about 200 years. Some of them went up into Europe, and some of them stayed down there in the Mount Seir. Oh, remember the son, the Edomite son, Hadad, and his men, and he had a group of Edomites with him. They were escaping when Solomon was on the scene. They were scared to death of King David and Joab. So Hadad fled down into what? Egypt. Where's Egypt in relation to Edom? You can walk from the land of Edom to Egypt. It's a nice little walk, but that, you can damn near walk from there. Egypt was southwest of Edom, or the land of Edom. See, when you get into these scriptures, you got to know the Hebrew, you got to know the Greek, you got to know maps.
Turkey sits in Asia. The Caucasus Mountains are sitting at the base of Asia. Sitting in Asia. Western Asia. Okay?
Yeah, the brothers say Western Asia. I just say the so-called Middle East. The Middle East.
Europe
or the Levant
also sits in Asia. So they've, fabricated a lot of lies over the centuries to try and hide the truth.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of
Kedar, or Kedar.
I am black. The Hebrew word there is shachar ha-anya. It literally translates to I am dark-skinned.
Yeah, the black meaning brown, dark brown, not black. The word black is in there, but the word, because he says Kedar, which means a dark brown.
Strong's number, and I don't use Strong's numbers.
And they'll try to say that, well, that's the woman and talking to Solomon, but it tells you in verse 1, these are the songs of Solomon, which is Solomon. It's Solomon that's speaking.
And by the way, the reason why it's called the Songs of Solomon, because they're songs. Just like Psalms are songs. Psalms are songs. You sing it. Songs of Solomon are Solomon's psalms. And when he was singing, he sung the role of a woman, and he sung the role of a man, and he sung the role of the Most High. When he referred to wisdom as he married the woman, he referred to wisdom, which is a feminine spirit, comforting spirit. When he referred to wisdom as my wife, him being the man, and sometimes he refers to himself as being a woman, being in love with a man, and that love represents the Most High, the Spirit. So the Psalms is not the Shulamite woman. No, the Shulamite woman was Solomon. Just like you make how can I say this? There's certain songs that come up where a woman's singing, then she's singing about the love that she had with a man, then she'll imitate the man's voice. You know, you do that. Your woman imitate you, the way you talk, so she's playing you. So these, like I said, these Christians, they're clueless. They don't know what's going on. Oh, that was a woman that said you was a black woman, huh? You know what I'm saying? No, it wasn't no fucking woman, bro. The Shulamite woman is Solomon. He was playing the part of the Shulamite woman.
Not African.
Because they want to say, well, we know Solomon was a white man. Oh, so Solomon was getting down with Jake woman? So I guess his kids came out with Jake then. Either way, they're going to come out looking dark. They know that the original people of the scriptures, the chosen people of the scriptures, are people of color. That's how we know that these people over there in Israel are not the real people. Although some of them are. You got to tell the whole truth. Some of you say some of it could be as low as 5%. It could be as high as 25%, even 30%. Some of them are actually the people. So that's why the Most High has to separate the sheep from the goats. I believe that's Matthew 25, if I'm not mistaken. 32 around there.
But not a Hamite.
Often, but there's gonna be pushback. Strong's number 7838, Shachar, from Strong's number 7835, dusky.
Dusky.
So the word shachar means dusky. And if you look in the concise Oxford English Dictionary in the 10th edition, dusky means darkish in color, euphemistic of a person, black and dark skin. And in the Old English Dictionary, it says tending to black.
So we'll just stop right there. I mean, we could end the video right there. All right, that's solid evidence, okay, of what the Israelites look like. Specifically, the tribe of Judah. Solomon is a Judite.
That's why Gamal al-Nasser said what he said. He had the history. He said, wait a minute. Then when they left, when they were pushed out of there by the Romans, they were dark-skinned people. How the hell are they coming back looking like Europeans? And on top of that, you need a court order to get in America. You got a DNA. You can get your DNA 23andMe, and you get your DNA test and tells you how much of this you got in you, how much of that you got in you. You might have a little bit of Moab in you, might have a little bit of Gad, but in Israel, from what I heard from doing the research, if you say can you get a DNA test in the land of Israel, and they'll say no, or they'll say you need a court order. Why would you need a court order? Because you're trying to hide something. That's why they have these organizations set up by these top lawyers. Because if you got a lie going, you got to lawyer up. Anytime you got a bunch of lawyers, well, I'll stick my lawyers on you. That means you're going to try to stop them. You're going to bring a court order against them, a gag order. And that's what's going on. All these people in the UN, they all know who we are. And as soon as they say it, these Edomite professors, these lecturers, I'm talking about the Yale University, Harvard, Princeton University, places like this, Oxford and Cambridge. If they had the top professors and they did a series of lectures saying that the Israelites are Negroes, guess what? Negroes will believe it. So-called Negroes will, oh no, I didn't know that we were Israelites. But when we say it, they don't want to listen. So to hell with them. We don't give a damn about you, Jakes. Let me play a little bit more and then I'm going to end it.
Okay, he's from the line of Judah, right out of the loins of David. Okay? You cannot get around this. We can literally stop it right there. But I want to open that wound wide and pour salt deep in it to the lies of Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. And anyone who wants us to push this ruddiness lie. Okay? So the next scripture would be Lamentation. Yeah, we're going to have fun with this one. This is Lamentation 4 and 8. And it reads, their visage, meaning when you look at them, and this is referring to the Israelites, specifically the three tribes that they called, the kingdom of Judah. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered and become as a stick. Their visage, meaning when you look upon them, they were really dark. Okay? They were really dark in complexion. They weren't mourning, because they'll say, well, Judah was black. He was.
Now you have different shades of Jake because the seed got mixed.
He was in mourning. No, they just told you their visage. Hence the reason why I love this particular one so much. It's telling you when you look upon them, they're very dark. They're dusky. They're chestnut. They're maroon. They're ruddy. All right? In this one.
I'm sorry. Okay, I just came across this. You got these dating apps like men don't want to get with women. They don't want to get with women. They want to marry a woman because they're sick and tired of the women have nothing but games. Anytime you deal with a woman, she gonna play a fucking game with your ass. So right here, I just noticed this. Glenn Beck. Young people aren't dating. Here's the terrifying reason why. If you go back to the ancient, see, women make fucking lousy choices, and they all become, 304 sluts, garden tools, because they do things based upon their their feelings. Everything a woman does is based upon her feelings. You can buy a new car, you can tell her you love her, you can marry her, you can do everything right. She looks at another dude, she got a certain feeling, she gonna get with that other dude at the drop of a dime. So that's why they put chastity belts on him, and that's why they basically put him into slavery. That's the scriptures say that a woman is, I'm changing subject, a woman is a possession. Look it up. Look up the word chastity belts. Harems. What men were in charge of the harems? Men that had their rods chopped off, had their three-piece set chopped off. They became eunuchs. So they didn't have no desire for women. That's why your father has to be in the household. Your father has to choose what man you're going to deal with. Scriptures tell you that. Give your daughter to a man of either wisdom or understanding. That's in the Apocrypha. I'm not going to go into it. A man that is established. Rebecca was given to Isaac. When they got together, they saw each other and they went into the tent and consummated the bringing forth together. And Isaac was depressed because of his mother. As soon as he had sex, he was no longer depressed. His spirit changed. So we can tell you exactly why these women are all fucked up and no men want to deal with them, because men know sometimes you can get it easy. You can get it too fucking easy. Or they playing games, or they change their mind. They tell you they love you one minute, the next day, I can't stand you, fuck you. because they're out of control. They're out of control. A woman is supposed to be under the father or her husband. That's it. That's it. Now I'm changing subjects. That's why when, Isaiah 4:1 is going to happen on this side of the world, not in the world to come, it's going to continue in the world to come. And I already have in mind this, certain women that I put prayers up. But I want this woman that I had 10 years ago, I want her back, but make her young or whatever. And we're gonna have more than one woman that's gonna take place on this side first, because of Jacob's trouble. And you're gonna want to get with a man with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. Anyway, let's listen to a little bit more, and then I'm gonna close. Yeah, women are just tools for a man. Women were made. What the purpose? As a woman, what was the purpose of a woman? They'll give you a whole lot of. But according to the Bible, what was the purpose of the woman? The purpose of the woman was for man, not the other way around. The Most High created women for the pleasure of men, to give to give a man pleasure. That's have children.
This is a heartbreaker right here. This is referring to the Lord. And this is Revelation 4:3. The point is in 3, but I'm going to start at verse 1. And it reads, "And after this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the voice which I heard was as a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven. And the one that sat on the throne, he said, he that sat on the throne was like a jasper and a sardine stone." All right. "There was a rainbow round about the throne, and in the sight like unto the emerald." So he compared his visage to a jasper and sardine stone. So let's go to the receipt folder. Let's go to the receipts. Okay. This is a jasper and a sardine stone. A light-skinned Negro that's still brown, and a dark-skinned Negro that's still brown. Kind of chestnut, dusky, maroon, reddish brown, ruddy.
Malcolm X, Red Fox, and even the elder that's speaking right now, Malcolm, he has this complexion. Like Apostle Gabar would have more of this complexion. I would be a little bit lighter. Like I said, this is why we don't deal with Christians at all. We don't want to discuss nothing with you. Go about your business. We don't want to have debates with you. We don't want you to, you can say what you want. You're nothing to us.
Because Ruddy actually had to deal with youth as well. And to prove that, now, just to add insult to injury, they'll scream, he was olive colored. Well, here's the olives, which look just like the jasper and the sardine stone. I suggest that you screenshot these if you're new.
Let me go ahead and stop.
And we know that.
Let me go ahead and stop this. Green olive. They always say, well, the Jesus was olive color. Okay. Was he this color? I don't think so. He was either this color or that color. So when you say olive, right, this is unripened. You don't want to eat it when it's at that stage. You know when you want to eat it? When it's at this stage. That's when it's at its tastiest. So when you say he was olive colored, pick one. And this is simple stuff. If you would just stop and think.
There's no such thing. There's no green people. Okay? Jasper and the sardine stone looks eerily alike, similar to a brown olive and a black olive.
Another thing Christians do, they're making it about a racial thing, an ethnic thing. What do you think all throughout the scriptures, when it says this is for Israel, this is not for the other nations, the strangers cannot eat a Passover, but other strangers could. This is only for Israel. Even our Lord said, go to the Israelites. Don't go to the other nations, but go to the Israelites. Don't teach the other nations. So being an Israelite is part of an ethnic group. They're making it an ethnic thing. It's right, the Bible makes it an ethnic thing. This kingdom shall be not left to other people. Daniel 2. The saints, who are the saints? They're ethnic people. The Edomites are a different ethnicity. Like I said, this is why we do not we don't need the Christians. If anything, they need us.
There it is. And what's that old saying? The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Right? So you got ripe, which is delicious. Hold on. You got ripe, which is delicious. And you got very dark, which is delicious.
Well, I want this is what I want. This is the one I want. The one that's black olive. Fully ripened.
Okay.
And there's a far more nutritional value than this one here, especially this one. You got green, never eat green peppers. Green peppers are unripened. Go to the supermarket, go to where it says green peppers. It might be $1 each. Go to the red peppers. It might say $2 each. Why? What's the difference? The red peppers are fully ripened, just like the yellow peppers are ripe. So you don't want to eat green peppers. Even do the research. There's less nutritional value in a green pepper. That's why it costs more. So we're not supposed to be eating this in this form.
Most women of the world collectively, including the pale ones, they like their ripe and they're fully ripe. Just saying. Okay? So now that we've gotten those scriptures out the way, let's go to the first. Let's go to Snowden's book, Blacks in Antiquity. Okay, there's so much information in this book. It even got the word nigger in here. Yeah, it's a lot of information. I just want to go to specifics though. And on page 22, when Snowden says this, okay? See, no matter what you do on Chat GPT, art, as he wrote, often is more important than the written word, because in a word they will deceive, be disingenuous. All right, so art in respects, all right, in respect, more valuable than literature as a source of information for anthropological data, because it tells much of that the text does not, all right, about the amount of pronoctism or the total absence, the extent of platyrrhiny and lip eversion, facial proportions. So he used some really big words there, but the point being is that the art tells the truth that the text does not. And we're talking about ancient art.
Let me bring this back.
The extent of
Right, he said, though numerous likenesses of Negroes are the work of artists and not of photographers, there can be little doubt that the great Greeks and Romans were all acquainted with types we today call Negroes. So it's going to the argument of the Negroes, which are Israelites. No such thing as Negro. That's a made-up word. It's just a Latin word which means black. That's all it means. Hey, the world's waking up. The world's waking up to who we are. And who Edom. Before we got on YouTube, ain't nobody know what an Edomite was. Everybody knows what an Edomite is now. I was going to go to chat. Something was in my mind. Let me do this. Let me do this. What's the GMS take on the Russian icons? I'm sorry. I gotta put Israelites. Based on, did not even, I put in Israelites. Okay, here we go. Give me a second. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, do me a favor. You don't gotta get water this week. Yeah, I got enough. All right. Let's see later. Shalom. Yeah, no, yeah. I think you told me. Shalom. I'm sorry. Often referred to GMS through perspective groups, take the Russian and that historical or the black identity of biblical figures. There it goes. Based on the perspective often shared in Hebrew Israelite circles, particularly within Gathering of Christ Church or similar groups, often referred to as GMS, though perspectives may vary between specific groups. The take on Russian icons is that they represent historical evidence of black identity, of black figures, evidence of black biblical ancestry. These groups point to early Russian iconography, some dating back to the 14th century, which are the 1300s and before, that depicts Jesus, the Virgin Mary, and various apostles as so-called black people. Rejection of soot theory. They reject the explanation that the dark skin on these icons is caused by candle soot, BS, labeling that claim as a lie intended to obscure the true history, uncovering hidden history. They believe that the roughly 10,000, 50,000 such, that's a lot of icons, indicate that European whitewashing of biblical history did not completely destroy the original depictions. Challenging white supremacy, the icons are used to argue that the portrayal of biblical figures as white, palm-colored, is a historical inaccuracy and a form of idolatry, supporting their belief that the real Israelites are black. And there you go. You got black images right there. So you can't, we had tons of evidence. Let me take a deeper dive, see what it says. The Great Millstone GMS Israelites, a prominent group within the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, view Russian icons as a critical historical evidence of the true appearance of biblical figures. Let me go to A. Am I in AI mode? Yeah, this is AI mode. For GMS, these icons are not just art, they are restoration of identity. They use these images in their street preaching, used to, and online videos to awaken the 12 tribes of Israel. We should go back to that, bring out the icon books, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, to their supposed true history, which they believe was stolen by Esau, a term they often use for white people. So this is the back door of getting into the chat. They won't. I gotta sign up to go into the chat. Anyway, let's come back over here.
Platyrrhiny and lip eversion, facial proportions. So he used some really big words there, but the point being is that the art tells the truth that the text does not. And we're talking about ancient art. So let's go, because I love to use, I don't know where my thing is. It slipped out. I had a bookmark of the movie Troy. Okay? On this page. But basically, these are the soldiers that were fighting in Troy. This is on page 49. Okay? Where were these men in Troy? With Brad Pitt and the rest of them. Okay? This is an image of Memnon and some of his soldiers, some of his archers. Okay? Details of heads of Memnon and Negroes from black. See, they don't show you. The movie Troy. You can Google it and look it up right now. I'm like, where the hell is my bookmark? I had a bookmark from the for years in this book. I had the bookmark of the movie Troy in there because they showed you Memnon and Achilles as pale males. When the art from the time period, from the time and what that was there, shows you opposition. See, Esau Edom is a liar. They're disingenuous with everything that they say and do. On this page 153, proving that ruddiness had to do with youth. In one of his meanings, it says, the pure black of Memnon's face shows a certain ruddiness. All right? And they try to, throw the word Ethiopian there. But Ethiopian, literally, it doesn't not necessarily, depending on how it's used, mean someone who's Ethiopian per se as a son of Ham, but just someone who's dark flesh. Because the Edomite people who became Greeks, they were Ethiops, or Ethiopia was just to describe someone who was, dark in complexion. But you'll find that most Africans, sons of Ham, they'll be dark, but they won't have that ruddiness to their skin color. They won't have that reddish brown. They're more of more of a chocolate brown. All right. And so so it had to everything to do with youth. All right, like King David was. He was youthful. That young, ruddy, that brownish red, ruddiness. So, now that we said that, let's go to show you how much of Esau Edom is a liar. Let's go to Ruddy Horse. It's very clear what a ruddy horse looks like. That maroon, that brownish red. And I don't know why they throw this closet on. It's a beautiful horse. All right? But I guess because it's patchy.
The same complexion as a red fox and a red fox or Malcolm X. So let's deal with this argument that David looked like that, who's actually ruddy. In other words, they could have got Malcolm X to play the role of King David. That's what it means. It was red like this. Ruddy meaning this, not ruddy meaning that.
Are also ruddy, even though he's got, okay? But it's showing. But the first images to show up Okay, now let's look at a ruddy duck. All right? They're brownish, maroon, chestnut, dusky. Okay? Why this duck? Maybe they're referring to the dark parts of him. And then it's more in black and white, so you can't even really see it. But in color, you can see what a ruddy duck looks like. Now, watch this now, ruddy person. Look what they did. Esau was never described as ruddy, but they threw this one in there. They weren't able to remove it. Look. King David is described as ruddy. And they went and found the same images that I use. They use a ruddy cow, a ruddy horse, a ruddy duck, and 2 Hamites. These are Hamites. They could be scattered jakes too among them, but nevertheless, they actually are brownish red. Okay, you can see this woman here too. All right, it's clearly from some part of Asia. Remember, Asians were a brown and ruddy people. All right, before they, after mixing and mingling with Esau for centuries, begin to look like this. Okay, this is how more the Asians looked in the ancient world. Okay. And she could also be from North Africa, but nevertheless, they didn't start looking like this until after centuries of mixing with Esau. But that was them. But this dude, this is red. This isn't ruddy. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. That's these people. Okay? So they try to confuse the word, but all the information that we show you proves that to be lie, because this is actually ruddy. Okay? Let's put these up. Now you're looking at ruddy people. And they're gonna try to throw see, ruddy, red. Let me try to put that up a little higher. There we go. The guy next to Malcolm X. You can see it, the difference between ruddy and red. Ruddy and red. Okay, they're not the same. Now we're going to go to the Winston Simplified Dictionary.
Now the man speaking, he goes by the title of Elder Malcolm, and he would be Gad, Reuben, so-called Indian. And he kind of he has a complexion of a Malcolm X. Totally different. You can use the word ruddy right here. You can use the word ruddy like right here. All right? Gad is considered red. Guess what? Gad is red. They have a ruddy look to them. Ruddy. Look at that. Pretty woman. Gad is a mixture of brown, a reddish brown. When you make the color brown, it's a combination. It's you got the what do you call that? What do you call that? Spectrum of colors. Roy G. Biv. I learned that back in elementary school. And there's no such thing as green in your primary colors. You get green by mixing. What was it? I'm sorry. You got green. It's primary. You get this brown color, brown combination of green and red, which makes brown. Brown is not a primary color. Roy G. Biv, brown is not mentioned in that. So when you do a deep dive, this guy, they can use the word ruddy, but it's talking about red ruddy. There's a brown ruddy. He's a reddish brown. Reddish brown.
And I'm just going to read the definitions, because Esau's being disingenuous. It's funny, on page 281 in the Winston Simplified Dictionary, dishonesty and disingenuous on the same page. But disingenuous reads, not frank. To be frank, you hear people use that term. They're not frank. They're lying. They're being disingenuous. Or candid, artful, deceitful. See, and they're being artfully deceitful. By putting up that guy next to Malcolm X there. Malcolm X being ruddy, and that guy being an Edomite pale red next to him. That's artful, deceitful. All right. Okay, so like I said, AI and Chat GPT have been programmed to be disingenuous, to be deceitful. That's why these old definitions and books are so important. But this right here, on page 301, is dusk and dusky. Okay, that means because he said dusky. So dusk, it says dark color, shadow. Okay? Swarthiness. Remember, they replace swarthy with black, because when you look up black, it means ugly and dirty and nasty and bloody and dangerous and violent and all those sort of things. All right? That's why they replace in English. They replace the word swarthiness with black, because you don't want to say swarthy people, because then it's clearly referring to their complexion. They can get away with calling you a black person, and they're calling you dirty, nasty, ugly, violent, without you even knowing it, because people don't look up and read or understand the meaning of words. So, and we've been telling you over and over again to stop referring to yourself as black, because you're actually not black. Okay? It's the reason why they chose that word. And brunette is also fits in there, like the Irish name Burnett comes from brunette, right? Which means brown. Chestnut. Okay? That's another word. So now let's go to maroon. Marionite. Okay. A member of a group of Syria. Okay. Where's Syria at? Mount Lebanon. Where's that at? That's in the Levant. That's in Asia. Western Asia.
Okay, I'm going to change gears a little bit. I'm going to change gears. Let's click on this. Let's see what's happening over here. This is probably live.
Our so-called white, the same men who dug this up, they gave you Egyptology to throw you off the trail, to hold you away or keep you away from or searching out your Israelite roots.
Boom. Whew, man. That's it. So when he said that, man, I told you my mind was going, right? This is exactly what they were talking about in the Willie Lynch letters we're reading here. So let's go back. Man. So again, changing or hiding historical records, rewriting textbooks, destroying cultural identity, teaching a false narrative about a people's past. And this is what this shit is. We have nothing to do with Africa, okay? Egyptology, all right? This is why they go so hard of trying to tie us.
That's why that's accepted in, if not all, a lot of the major colleges. They have a black studies program to keep you people asleep. They're not gonna say, well, let's have there's so many Israelites out there. Let's have a Hebrew Israelite study program. No, because they want to keep you. This is part of their deception, to keep you asleep, telling you that you're Africans. Listen to a little bit more. I know I went long.
To the Hamites. Okay, but out of their own mouth, out of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites, man. So they know who we are. Okay, we've done plenty of lessons proving this point, right? Number 3, create a multiplicity of phenomena of illusions. This means create many different false ideas, distractions, and fake narratives. Examples: conflicting histories, fake cultural identities.
Right. If our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, and in whom the God of this world have blinded the man. Let me go to that so I can read it. I believe that's 2 Corinthians. I know it's 2 Corinthians 4 verse 3, if I'm not mistaken. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Who are the lost? The Israelites. Matthew 10:5-6. In whom the God of this world, Esau, have blinded the minds of them which believe not. So when we tell you you're Israelite and you, Jake, don't accept it, and you go say you're African, then go be African, man, and die as an African. Lest the light of the glorious gospel of the Messiah, I come and behold, I come in the volume of the book, who is the image of the Most High, not the Most High, should shine unto them. To who? The Israelites, starting with the what? With the elect. Isaiah 60, I believe that's 60. I'm thinking 61, 62, 60, 61. Arise, shine, for the light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon you. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahweh shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, those are Israelites, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. This whole chapter is dedicated to us putting the other nations in captivity, in slavery. As a matter of fact, let me do this. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. Okay, let me do this. Give me a second, y'all. Then I'm going to close. Okay. The great millstone. Israelites interpret Isaiah 60 as a literal prophecy of future kingdom of heaven, which they believe will be a physical empire on earth, right? As in heaven, so as it is in earth, as it is on earth, so it is in heaven. On earth, where the true Israelites, black, Hispanics, Native Americans, rule over all nations. That's slavery right there. For GMS, this chapter is a blueprint for the reversal of fortunes. I'm going to look that word up. Between the Israelites and their current oppressors. Who's our current oppressors? Number one on the list are the Edomites. They're getting ready to go down. And let's give Donald Trump a hand for doing a great job as the president. He's doing exactly what the scriptures made him to do. Set him up to do. Physical rules and slavery, verses 10 to 12. Now, if you go to YouTube and you put in Isaiah chapter 60, and you go to these different preachers, they're not even going to mention slavery in it. They're going to talk some. I did that. They didn't mention. They ain't talking about. Show you how bugged out these churches are. Physical rule and slavery, verses 10 to 12. GMS focuses heavily on the forces of the Gentiles being brought to Israel. They interpret verse 12 For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, shall be destroyed. Then we're not going to destroy them as a nation, but they're going to get jacked up. They're going to get it right. As a mandate that all non-Israelite nations, specifically those they identified as Esau or white people, must serve the Israelites in physical bondage or face total destruction. That applies to all the nations. But they will comply because we're going to have spiritual power. We're going to be the dominant nation. Supremacy. We're going to have supremacy over the other nations. The building of and the small hats, right? Anytime, so that's does that make the small hats a supremacy? The small hats, aren't they, shouldn't they be considered a supremacy group? If they're a special class of people? Well, that was if you blew up a church, this is somebody blew up a church or shot up a church. It's no big deal. Oh, they shot up a church. We don't know why. Shoot up a so-called synagogue? Yeah, it's anti-Semitic. It said the building of the kingdom, verse 10, they take the phrase, the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, literally. How should we take it any other way? In their view, the same nations that used slave labor to build Western empires will be forced to physically, no, they're going to spiritually build it. Rebuild the cities, and they're going, you know who's going to be the two taskmasters? Deacon Akar and Brother Hassad. They're going to be taskmasters over the Edomites spiritually building the kingdom. Physically rebuild the cities and infrastructure of the New Jerusalem for the Israelites. Reparations and wealth. GMS interprets the abundance of the sea. Right, that's true. Hey, somebody go tell Tariq Nasheed, you ain't gonna get no reparation until the kingdom comes, and you gotta acknowledge that you're an Israelite, which you don't. And the wealth of Gentiles as a form of divine reparations. That's divine reparations. Trump ain't gonna give you no motherfucking reparations. You can forget about that. Jake don't even talk about it because you know you ain't gonna get it under Trump. You didn't get it under fucking Obama. You know, if Kamala Harris, Harris I called her, if she became president, you wouldn't get no damn reparations. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? They believe the resources, gold, and labor of the world. Now they found I don't know how many in the trillions of ounces of gold, a gold vein in Iran, and that's why they go into war, because they found out about this gold. So Esau wants to get that gold. It'll change the price of gold altogether. It'll just completely. If you find trillions of, if you find tons, thousands of tons, metric tons of gold, it should bring the prices down. Will be handed over to them as the rightful heirs of the earth. Esau has heir of the earth. He owns the earth through a series of occupations. Look up the word occupations in the military sense. The bowing down, verse 14. This is a cornerstone verse for GMS street preaching. They believe the sons of them that afflicted thee, descendants of slave owners and colonizers, will literally bow. No, they're going to spiritually bow down to us. They physically did it to us. We're going to physically do it back to them, because this is going to be a physical kingdom on the earth. We'll literally bow at the feet of Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, American men, acknowledging them as the chosen people of the Most High, including the Hamites. That's Isaiah 45:13, or thereabouts. The light versus the gross darkness. GMS teaches that the gross darkness currently covering the people represent the lies of the current and world system, white supremacy, Christianity, and secular education. The light is the truth of their Hebrew identity, which they believe is only now being revealed to the elect of their community. Right? This is only the ones that's going to act on it are the elect. Some of you are going to be called. Some of you are going to be chosen. Some of you are going to be called and not chosen. You're going to fall back out the truth. That's why men and women fall out the truth. Theological contrast, unlike mainstream Christian interpretations that see Isaiah 60 as a spiritual promise for the church of Christianity is a joke. Christianity is a joke. Why would Captain Zarak go head to head with Christians all day, every day? It's beyond me. Millennial kingdom. We're all equal. GMS views it as a strictly ethnocentric and vengeful restoration where the hierarchy, which are the Israelites of the world, is flipped. We're going to be the new hierarchy. Anyway, I'm going to close. I went long. Please forgive me. I wasn't trying to go long, but shalom, on to the next.